Clint Eastwood, born May 31, 1930 in San Francisco, California, is one of the greatest icons of American cinema. An actor, director, producer, and musician whose career has spanned more than 7 decades. From his rugged cowboy roles in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, to his Oscar-winning directing work in Unforgiven and $1 Million Baby, he has shaped the entertainment industry with his powerful, poignant, and emotional style. At 94, Eastwood continues to work, with his latest project, Juror No. 2, due for release in 2024, proving that age is no deterrent to his passion. The father of 8 children, including Scott Eastwood, Francesca Eastwood, and Kyle Eastwood, and married to Maggie Johnson from 1953 to 1984, and Dinah Eastwood from 1996 to 2014, his life has been a journey filled with success, but also with deep sadness, unrelenting effort, and personal sacrifice. Eastwood is a symbol of resilience, but behind the halo is a man with many emotional scars. Clint Eastwood's greatest sorrow may be his regret for not spending enough time with his children and family relationships in the early years of his career. Growing up in the Great Depression in San Francisco, Eastwood had a difficult childhood, moving frequently due to the work of his father, Clinton Sr., a salesman and production manager. His mother, Ruth, a factory worker, always encouraged him to pursue his passions in music and art. As his acting career took off in the 1950s as Rowdy Yates in Rawhide, and then as the man with no name in Sergio Leone's Dollars trilogy, Eastwood was often away from home, working on sets in the United States, Italy, and Spain. This busyness caused him to miss important moments in the lives of his children, from Kyle and Allison with Maggie Johnson to Scott and Francesca with other relationships. Eastwood once admitted in an interview that he felt guilty for not being there for his children more, especially during their formative years. He said that the long days on set and the pressure to maintain his fame made him a distant father. This sadness was deepened when he looked back on his broken marriages and complicated relationships with his children, some of whom grew up without his constant presence. Although he tried to compensate by supporting his children's careers, such as producing films for Kyle and Scott, the feeling that he had missed out on building deeper relationships remained a mental scar. Another aspect of his grief was the loneliness he felt in his early years, when he struggled to be taken seriously as an actor, moving beyond his action star image to become a respected director. Clint Eastwood's career was a journey of great success mixed with failures and struggles that brought him to tears. Starting with supporting roles in B-movies like 1955's Revenge of the Creature, Eastwood landed his breakthrough role in Rawhide, a television series that ran from 1959 to 1965, which made him a minor star. However, his real breakthrough came in 1964 with A Fistful of Dollars, the first film in Sergio Leone's Dollars trilogy, followed by For a Few Dollars More and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. These films not only made him a global icon, but also defined the spaghetti western genre. As the man with no name, Eastwood brought a cold, mysterious hero to the role that would become the standard for later roles. In the 1970s, Eastwood expanded his career with another iconic role as Harry Callahan in Dirty Harry, and made his directing debut with Play Misty for Me in 1971. His biggest success came in 1992 with Unforgiven, a Western that he directed, produced, and starred in, which won 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director. In 2004, $1 Million Baby earned him 2 more Oscars, cementing his status as one of Hollywood's greatest directors. Other works, such as Gran Torino, American Sniper, and The Mule, demonstrated his ability to combine action, emotion, and social messages. In 2024, at the age of 94, he released Juror No. 2. A courtroom thriller that received critical acclaim for its subtlety and depth. Eastwood's career, however, has not always been smooth sailing. In his early years, he faced many setbacks, such as when films like Ambush at Cimarron Pass were panned, causing him to doubt his acting abilities. His 1969 musical, Paint Your Wagon, which he starred in, was a commercial and critical failure, leaving him feeling embarrassed and disappointed. As a director, he also struggled with some projects, such as 2011's J. Edgar, which was criticized for lacking depth, or 2018's The 1517 to Paris, which was criticized for lacking cohesion. There were moments when he cried on set, not only because of the creative pressure, but also because he felt he could not meet the expectations of the audience and himself. Once, while filming Unforgiven, he broke down in tears while directing an emotional scene about loss because it reminded him of personal sorrows. Eastwood's efforts throughout his career were a testament to his dedication. He taught himself to direct by watching directors like Sergio Leone and Don Siegel, often working 18-hour days to complete projects. He founded Malpaso Productions in 1967 to gain creative control, a risky move that led to the production of films like Mystic River and Letters from Iwo Jima. The long nights of script editing, tense discussions with producers, and struggles to maintain his artistic vision were exhausting. His tears, though rarely publicized, were emblematic of the passion and dedication he devoted to becoming a Hollywood legend. Clint Eastwood's achievements were not only about fame but also about recognition of his talent and influence in cinema. From a young age, he dreamed of becoming a respected actor, but his bigger goal was to become a director who could tell profound stories. Winning Oscars for Unforgiven and Million Dollar Baby were milestones, not only because of the glory, but also because they affirmed his ability to combine art and commerce. He also tried to raise awareness about social issues through films like American Sniper, which explored the consequences of war, or Sully, which celebrated the courage of ordinary people. Eastwood also worked to leave a legacy through Malpaso Productions, where he produced more than 50 films, from The Outlaw, Josie Wales to Richard Jewell. He wanted his films to inspire audiences, to encourage them to think about morality, love, and sacrifice. Becoming a musician, composing music for films like Mystic River and Changeling was another accomplishment he cherished, as music was a way for him to express his deepest emotions. He also tries to support his children's careers, producing films for Kyle, a jazz musician, and Scott, an actor, although he admits he doesn't want them to rely on his name. These achievements, along with the fact that he continues to work at the age of 94, are a testament to his perseverance and passion. Clint Eastwood's love and marriages were a complicated part of his life, bringing both joy and sadness. He first married Maggie Johnson, a model, in 1953, and they had 2 children, Kyle and Allison. The marriage lasted 31 years but was tumultuous, with many rumors of Eastwood's extramarital affairs, including his fathering children with Roxanne Tunis and Jocelyn Reeves. Maggie suffered a lot, and the marriage ended in 1984, leaving Eastwood with regrets for not being a better husband. He has said that he is not proud of his mistakes, and that his greatest sadness was seeing Maggie suffer because of his choices. His second marriage to Dina Ruiz, a journalist, began in 1996 and ended in 2014 and produced his daughter Morgan. Although initially happy, the marriage fell apart over irreconcilable differences, leaving Eastwood feeling like a failure to build a stable family. In addition to his 2 marriages, he had relationships with Sandra Locke, Frances Fisher, and others, resulting in 8 children with 6 women. These complicated relationships, while bringing joy to his children, also exposed him to public criticism and a sense that he had not appreciated the women in his life enough. His heartbreak in love was the realization that his fame and career had cost him the opportunity to build lasting relationships. Clint Eastwood's children are his greatest source of pride, but also a source of some sadness. He has 8 children: Laurie Murray, Kimber Tunis, Kyle Eastwood, Allison Eastwood, Scott Eastwood, Catherine Eastwood, Francesca Eastwood, and Morgan Eastwood. Each of his children brought him joy, but he admits that he wasn't always the ideal father. Laurie, his eldest daughter with Roxanne Tunis, grew up not knowing he was her father until she was an adult, a fact he deeply regretted when he discovered. Kyle and Allison, his children with Maggie Johnson, have a closer relationship with him, but they also experienced years without him due to their busy schedules. Scott, Francesca, and Morgan, the younger children, have gone into the entertainment industry, with Scott becoming a famous actor in films like Suicide Squad, and Francesca and Morgan in acting and reality television. Eastwood has tried to support his children, producing films for Scott and Allison, but he also sets high standards, encouraging them to be independent. He has said that he wants his children to have their own careers, but this sometimes makes them feel pressured to live in his shadow. His sadness was the realization that some of his children, like Laurie and Catherine, grew up emotionally distant, something he tried to remedy by being closer in later years. His love for his children was undeniable, but he admitted that he might have done better if he had not been so caught up in his career. Scott Eastwood, Clint's son with Jocelyn Reeves, shared his deep thoughts about the sadness his father experienced. In an interview, Scott said that his father's greatest sadness was the